Hey guys, how is it going? So we are here and we're going to start with the general astrology notes for everybody for July, and then real quickly after that we'll get into the Cancer and Leo as well for July, and each one will be done separately, and later after the live is done we will have timestamps and all that good stuff. So yeah, before we get started here real quickly, I just want to make sure that we are going live, and that the sound is good and all that good stuff. So let's see. I don't know why it's not popping up. Um, Hold on. There it is. Okay, now I can see it. Okay, cool. So, okay, sound is good. It has that little delay, but I heard it. So, also, I just want to make sure that we are going live on Facebook, and that it is public for everybody to see and all that good stuff. And then we'll get started. So, I wanted to say also, ahead of time, happy birthday to all the sun sign cancers out there, whether you've already had your birthday or it's coming up, right? Because now we're in Cancer season. And what else? Yeah, we do have coming up in July 4 retrogrades. Okay. So, really interesting things that we're going to talk about in just a few moments as far as the general astrology for everybody. I'm just changing this title real quickly. So, we're going to put Cancer and Leo July, right? Okay. For some reason, it still won't let me change from friends on Facebook to public for now, but whatever, I'll deal with it later. It's just very strange. I feel like Facebook is trying to limit me or something, but whatever, we push past that, right? Because we're about energy, so we don't take those limitations, all right? But anyway, yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of incense here and talk about astrology before we get into the reading. But yeah, I hope everybody, if anyone did celebrate the summer solstice, right, the height of summer that we had on June 21st, and now slowly the days will start to get shorter again, right? So it's just kind of celebrating the longest day of the year. So I just did a little rose ceremony and ritual at the beach. I still have some of my roses here, as you can see. So that was really cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the astrology notes here. So on July 2nd, we have a first quarter moon. And on July 4th, right, with the fireworks and everything, if you celebrate here in America, all that stuff, we have Venus is going to be entering into Gemini, right? So it seems like Venus is always going to be entering into the last zodiac sign that we were in as far as the sun sign. So even though now we're in Cancer, Venus is always a little bit behind, so to speak, right? And so Venus is going to be in Gemini, right, on that July 4th. And so Venus is all about, of course, love, beauty, balance, justice themes. And when it enters into air sign Gemini, it can be about communication. And then you also have Venus being the ruler of Libra, right? You got a lot of air energy as far as Venus. So that rules partnerships, right? It can be romantic partnerships, work partnerships, kind of etc. But it can be like really helping the way that we communicate within those partnerships or relationships at this time. And then also on the same day, we have Neptune going retrograde, okay? So Neptune rules dreams, our intuition, right? On the more positive side. on the more like less positive side, you could say Neptune also deals with illusions, right? So what it's really talking about during this time on July 4th with all the fireworks, right? And here in America anyway. And please be nice to the animals and people who have PTSD as far as veterans and people who've been in war, all that stuff. So fireworks aren't usually the best, right? But I was just kind of joking around. Some people could still enjoy them, so that's good for them. But we have this introspection energy that really wants us to go within and reevaluate if there are any illusions with that Neptunian energy, okay? It also can talk about spiritual growth and having some type of wake up call, okay? So lots of really good things happening with that. Then a few days later, on July 7th, we have Uranus enters also into air sign Gemini. So Uranus, right, being the ruler of Aquarius, also air sign, a lot of air energy, right, is about shocks and surprises, innovation, technology, travel. So when that goes into that Gemini energy, it kind of just makes it like it's not its ruler per se, but it feels very at home, right? That complementary kind of air energy coming together with the Uranus in Gemini, okay? And then a few days later, another big thing for July is we have the full moon in Capricorn this time, okay? And that full moon in Capricorn can be for sun sign Capricorns or people who have a lot of Capricorn in their chart. It's like a 6 month review of what's happened so far, and then kind of what Capricorns want to plan when we get into the winter and get into their season. But for us in general, or people who don't have a lot of Capricorn or they're not a sun sign Capricorn, it's like about that grounding, slowing down earth energy, right? Being organized, being having that Saturn energy that rules Capricorn coming in as well. So anytime we have a full moon, energy is heightened, good and bad, right? So they usually say a day before, the day of, the day after. For some people, you can feel like the energy is more intensified, right? But I don't remember, I'm usually pretty bad at like the names of the full moons, but I'm sure you can look it up, or maybe I'll look it up later as far as the name. But it is that full moon in Capricorn on July 10th. Now, the next day, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Venus entering Gemini on the 4th. Then on the 11th, Juno goes direct. Okay, so Juno rules partnerships. Okay, so again, there's all this like kind of positive energy, whether it's romantic relationships or work partnerships. Maybe if things were not as clear before, or there was some slowed down, kind of stagnant energy, or there was misunderstandings. Now with it going direct, it can kind of be a little bit more easy there, or flow just, yeah, more easily, okay? And then this is really interesting. On July 13th, Saturn also goes retrograde. And we were just talking about Saturn with that full moon in Capricorn because Saturn rules Capricorn, right? So anytime we have a retrograde, right, it's about reviewing, revise, release something, right? Revisit any past issues if there's something there. But Saturn is kind of that father time stern energy. So it's like paying bills, getting things done, responsibilities, limitations, right? So when it goes in that, or is perceived as it's going in that retrograde motion from where we are on Earth, it's really like, do we want to relook at something or reevaluate something in terms of any limitations we have put on ourselves or others, or where are our responsibilities, or where are other people's responsibilities, right? So it's just getting serious with something here around that and going back possibly over something from the past. But it can also be about this like new progress and reassessing our foundations with something, okay? So again, it says responsibilities here, limitations, but also long-term goals. So Saturn, again, because it's father time, serious, kind of stern energies, like what are our long-term goals, right? So that's the kind of energy showing up around like the mid-month or so. Then on July 17th, we have a last quarter moon here, okay? And then the big one here, as far as, remember I said we have 4 retrogrades happening this month. I was like 5, 4, no, 4. We have Mercury going into retrograde again for the second time so far this year. So Mercury rules communications, electronics, technology, right? And our general way that we communicate with ourselves and others in just that thinking air energy. So again, when it's going that retrograde motion, and people also say that Gemini can be a trickster, and it can be true, right? I said Gemini, but I meant to say Mercury. So maybe there's a hint there, right? But Mercury does also rule Gemini. So it's like, let's also revise, revisit, release something, okay? But there's like a playful energy or this energy behind it that can be misleading, right? That kind of trickster energy, but it doesn't have to be this big whole negative thing that a lot of people put on it, okay? Because everybody is in a different place in their journey or their timeline, all right? Um, but yeah, it's just saying that there's something here about, if there's any miscommunications or technical difficulties or travel disruptions, or a lot of people say, during Mercury retrograde, you need to be more cautious and maybe not like sign new contracts. If it's something that's pre existing that has already been in the works, then you might be okay. But generally, they say, right, during Mercury retrograde to kind of just really slow down a little bit. That's what that energy is all about. Okay, so then you can later have some type of new contract or new ventures, but it's going over something here. Now, on the following day, this is really beautiful. This is now talking about Jupiter is quintiling Chiron, right? So, Chiron is that wounded healer. Jupiter is all about expansion and growth, okay, and abundance. So, when Jupiter is quintiling, if I'm saying that right, Chiron, okay, it's like using one's healing journey to also help others, okay? So I love that that's like about helping others with our own healing journey, right? And kind of coming together in this like team working kind of energy. Going back to Juno going direct and Venus and Gemini, it kind of all pairs together there again. And then, of course, on July 22nd, now the sun is going to be entering into Leo. So by that time, we'll be in Leo season. All right. And then, of course, we have the new moon on July 24th as well. So, new moons, right, are about planting seeds for something coming up, right? So, it's not the full moon culmination energy. It's like, okay, what do we need to now build to for the next full moon, let's say in August, all right? Um, and then the last kind of retrograde I wanted to talk about too, we kind of had a hint at it over here on the 19th, but on July 30th, Chiron is also now going to go into retrograde, okay? And let's see, I believe I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find it now. I believe Chiron goes into retrograde for a certain amount of months, and now I can't find it. I thought I wrote it down. Just kidding. Okay, so Hermes, it's all right. Anyway, that's funny because Hermes, right, is another name for Mercury. So Mercury going retrograde. Hermes, you're gonna go on retrograde in mid-July. You're gonna go backwards and slow down. You need to slow down. All right. But anyway, with this Chiron energy going in the retrograde motion, we also have on the same day now, on July 30th, the end of the month, Venus was leaving Gemini and now it's in Cancer, right? Because I always say how Venus is a little bit behind of whatever current zodiac season we're in, all right? But this is talking about personal growth and transformation, right? It's love, beauty, justice, balance themes coming together with water sign Cancer, that kind of emotional kind of energy, intuitive energy. So it's talking about understanding oneself, as a channel for sacred energy. So I really, really like that. But I was trying to find, I guess I didn't write it down. Um, but let me look it up right now just because it's going to bother me. How long is Chiron retrograding in July? Let's see. How long is Chiron retrograding in July 2025? Okay, so starting on July 30th and ending on January 2nd of 2026 next year. So technically Chiron will be in retrograde for 155 days, okay? Um yeah. So why is that important, right? So Chiron represents healing. So again, when we talk about retrogrades or when the planets appear to be going backwards for us, it's revise, release, renew, okay, going over, reevaluating something about our healing. How can we heal something with the way that we communicate, our love language, right, with Venus entering into Cancer starting on the same day. So it's kind of like I said in the beginning, there's four big retrogrades throughout July. So you have Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, and Chiron. Okay. So lots of really interesting things here, and it may come out in the collective readings for each sign in different ways, depending on which sign we're on and their ruler and all that good stuff. But yeah, so now I want to kind of switch and transition into the Cancer reading here. Okay, so I will be putting a timestamp later too for kind of when we stopped talking about the astrology and got more into the reading. But I wanted to welcome everybody here again, whether you've been here before, it's your first time. But yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of a sound bell here to just kind of ground and clear the energy, and then we'll kind of see what is coming out, like what Spirit has as far as messages for Cancer. All right. So it can be for anybody, right? You don't have to be a sun sign Cancer to get something from this reading. We all have Cancer somewhere in our chart, even if it's like the house associated with Cancer and all of that good stuff. Okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and kind of just tap in here and take a deep breath if you feel guided. If you're sensitive to sound, it does get a little bit loud, so feel free to turn it down temporarily. All right. So anyway, this is going to be for Cancer for July. All right. That was a good one. Okay. So, when I am shaking the bones and the charms that are in this little black bag, they make a little bit of noise, but again, it won't be for forever. Just the beginning of the reading, so bear with me and thank you for your understanding and patience. All right, so spirits, please guide my hands. Spirits, guide my hands. Messages for water sign Cancer for July 2025. Messages for Cancer for the highest good. Spirit, guide my hands. Spirit, guide my hands. Messages for Cancer for the highest good. Messages for Cancer. All right. Spirit, guide my hands, please. guide my hands. Messages for water sign Cancer for July. What does Cancer need to see? What does Cancer need to know? Spirit guide my hands for Cancer for their highest vibration for July 2025. Messages for Cancer. Spirit guide my hands. Spirit guide my hands. Messages for Cancer. Spirit guide my hands. Messages for Cancer for their highest good. Messages for Cancer for their highest good. Messages for water sign Cancer for their highest good. Messages for Cancer. Spirit guide my hands. Messages for Cancer. Spirit guide my hands. Okay. So, let's see here, Cancer. The energy was like funny at the end, not in a bad way, but it was like dancing. I don't know how to say it. Okay. So now real quickly, once I find my pen here, I'm gonna kind of flip over some of the bones and charms so we can see them better before I bring down the camera in a few minutes and you can see everything up close. I'm also going to move in some of the bones and charms that kind of went out here. But it doesn't change their meaning. It just means that, we can see them a little bit better in a few moments. Oh, stay there, baby. Okay. Let's see. I had music earlier and I think it stopped, but that's okay. The ones that are too close together, I usually wait to flip them over until we're there. Like I said, but I'm just trying to get the ones that I can ahead of time. Okay, I feel like, wait, no, another one. Okay, now I feel it's pretty good for the most part. Okay, so Cancer. I would say, like, looking here, just, from what came out, and it's hard to say for everyone, right, since it is a general reading, but I would say your busiest sections for July are spiritual unconscious and body and mental health. There's still stuff, of course, going on in these other two sections, which is work and money and relationships and love. But it may be that Spirit wants you, okay, to focus more on these areas. But as you come to this reading, right, it can be about you or someone else that you're dealing with, or multiple people, or just kind of your general environment situation. So you always have to take it how it may resonate for you. But with that being said, here too, Cancer, there's quite a few things that are crossing through the center circle here that have the different sections intersect. So it's like, even though I'm saying that your busiest sections are over here, there's also a lot of crossover throughout, okay? Um, but I would say it definitely felt like when I was channeling and shuffling the bones and charms, or shaking them, right, in the bowl, that there was a lot of energy coming out. And this makes sense, right? Since this is, or half of the month anyway, of July is your season here, Cancer, okay? So definitely a lot of busy energy. But let's go ahead and dive deeper in just a moment here before I take the camera down. I also kind of want to ask Spirit, oops, I can flip this one too, like where they want me to, oh, interesting, where they want me to start this reading. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so bear with me just for a few moments. I'm going to hover my hands over and kind of see where they want to start. Spirits, where do you want to start this Cancer reading for July? Where do you want to start, Cancer? For Cancer, spirits for Cancer. Where do you want to start this Cancer reading? Okay. So they kind of want to start right here in the center. I don't know if you guys can see right now from the position of the camera, but this big brown nut here is the nutmeg, okay? So I'm just going to kind of rest my pen there, but that's where they want to start here, Cancer. And it's really interesting because it's on the line between relationships and love and work and money, okay? So let's take the camera down and show you guys so you can see. Okay. All right, so here we go for a little bit of a ride. Okay, so if you can see there, Cancer, kind of where my pen is pointing to, right, this huge buckeye right here. So the buckeye is touching a lot of other things, and again, crossing through both of these sections right on the line here between relationships and love and work and money. So the buckeye represents abundance, okay, in all forms. So when I see this, okay, I can see that there is also the feather, okay, showing up behind it. And what else do we have? Look, so cute. There's the witch charm, okay? So she is my symbol for friends, a group of friends, or a friendly type of energy here, Cancer. Maybe coming in to help you clear something, but then to push this abundance towards you. And what is abundance? It's whatever you want to manifest in terms of your relationships and your work and money, right? I feel that there is, you know, a lot of freedom on the other side here. We see the freedom handcuffs are then also touching the nutmeg here, okay? But to go back a little bit here, Cancer, once the camera focuses, if you can see here, we have the mountain charm, okay? And it's on top of one of the bumblebees, and then we have, of course, the butterfly, right? And again, this is all touching but crossing through that center circle. So remember how I was saying that these two are the busiest sections, but then it's also like there's this, the energy just felt like the bones and charms were dancing, right? I was like, okay, it's really kinetic. It's really like something fast moving. And then when the butterfly shows up here, Cancer, it kind of confirms it for me because there's a big transformation here happening in one relationship or all of your relationships, right? Whether they're romantic or platonic, with friends or family, self love, right? And then also a lot of transformations happening in terms of work or money or our sense of being valued here. So it could be that with that mountain charm, you know, on top of the bumblebee, this represents challenges, okay? So some type of a challenge was here or still is here around our sense of individuality and also our sense of teamwork, okay? And how that's maybe showing up and changing with these transformations. So the challenging stuff is on one side, right? And then the witch charm is here coming in like, I'm going to help you clear something. The friends and family coming in, the friendly energy coming in to clear this, right? To make sure to breathe, right, through these transformations. And then we have this beautiful sense of freedom on the other side. Now, if we continue to go this way, it's freedom to either set boundaries or respect boundaries. Okay, it can go either way, again, since this is a general reading. But they say boundaries because this is the bobcat tooth here, Cancer. Okay, and cats are really good at setting their boundaries, right? They don't let them pet you unless it's on their terms. Okay, so it could be freedom to set your own boundaries or freedom to respect someone else's boundaries, or both, right? Vice versa, etc. So then laying on top of this bobcat tooth and kind of crossing over the heart here and going up and over here, Cancer, is that first raccoon penis bone. So now we have masculine energy, Okay. And what do we have on one side? We've got the broom. Okay, so the broom is another symbol, just like the feather here in the beginning, to clear something. So when we talk about masculine energy, and we all have masculine and feminine inside of us, regardless of gender, how we identify, right? It's being proactive or assertive or aggressive with clearing something here. And again, we have another bumblebee here. They're very close together, which doesn't usually happen, right? So there's this repeating pattern here, Cancer, about a sense of individuality and also teamwork, right? So the honeybees, they all work together, but if one of them quits and then they all kind of quit, then there's going to be no honey. They're all going to die. The queen bee's going to die, right? It sounds dramatic, but it's just kind of a metaphor for someone, you or someone else, an energy, like knowing and feeling their importance, but also seeing how they have to work with others. It's like this big thing going on here at Cancer. And what do we have on one side? We talked about the masculine energy here with that raccoon penis bone. On the other side, we have this beautiful feminine energy with the seashell. So a nice balance here. I love this here for your season as well, Cancer. Look, there's the sun. And the sun, I'm going to lift it up so I can flip it over and show you, is on top of the book charm. Okay? So there's something here, Cancer, about some type of knowledge or research or understanding something that's going to bring a lot of happiness here. Okay? So I definitely like that. All right? Um, and then if we continue to go on this way, how beautiful is this, Cancer? It leads into the lizard, so healing energy. It's talking about rebirth and regrowth here, right? So certain lizards, you cut off their tail and it's going to regrow, okay? And then this leads also, because they're all touching, now we have the angel coin here, Cancer. So it's like your spiritual team is showing up here to help you or someone else, or the general energy, really dig in and find something to do with where you feel a sense of safety and freedom, right? Because here we have the ship charm now, okay? So, whereas before we were talking about boundaries with the bobcat tooth over here, now it's like your spiritual team and all this healing energy is coming in here, Cancer, and being like, well, where do we drop our anchor when we need to stop the boat? But then also, where do we pick up the anchor so then we can go. So it's a sense of freedom and safety. Your spiritual team is coming in here, your ancestors, your angels, what have you. Okay, and then there's something coming from them, okay, to you or someone else, or the energy that's like all about these beautiful new ideas with the lightning bolt underneath. Okay, look at that, right? And this also then leads to protection, okay? With the Norse symbol for protection here, Cancer. It's so beautiful. And then there's feminine energy under that again, kind of echoing. So, as a stereotype, right, we all have masculine and feminine, but this feminine energy, that soft receiving energy, is like there is this safety, okay, with these new ideas, all right? And it's going back to the butterfly, all these transformations happening in different areas of your life or someone else's, or the general energy, is also then leading to Libra energy over here, Cancer, with those balance scales showing up. I'm just going to flip over one of these other charms here that I didn't see from before, okay? And so here now, Cancer, let me just move over because of the lighting. We have possibly something to do with the Libra, or during Libra season, or where you may have Libra in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. It's just also really about finding a sense of equal give and take or balance with a leap of faith here, because the balance scales are also touching the frog, then the frog is touching the bat, and then the bat is touching the raccoon claw, okay? So it's like finding this equal give and take, or the sense of balance with some type of leap of faith. It could be a leap of faith that has something to do with the way that we communicate, okay? And Cancer, we know it doesn't happen until the end of the month, July 30th, since I just did the general astrology notes, as Venus moves into your sign, not until the end of the month, right? But here, when we have that leap of faith, it's about um, taking a risk where we don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be. But the bat represents not only good luck in lots of different cultures, it's also about like subtle vibrations. Okay, so bats can sorry guys, there's some thunder in the background. I might have to close the window and put my dog in the other room. Let's see. Maybe it's okay if it stops. But it's okay, baby. It's just a little thunder. It's okay. You go. I know. It's a scary cloud. I know. It's okay, baby. Um, talk about subtle vibrations, and then we have the thunder, right? So it's like something here, Cancer, maybe even feels like it's rumbling or something underneath coming to the surface about this leap of faith. Something here to do with balance, but really digging deep, because what I was starting to say here, Cancer, was that bats communicate, just with their sounds and their vibrations. They can't see. So it's like something about trusting what we're not able to see, but trusting and making this leap of faith anyway. The leap of faith to maybe have these new ideas, or the leap of faith to have this sense of safety here. All right. But whatever this is, it's also a sense of teamwork here with that raccoon claw. Okay. And then Cancer, the raccoon claw. It's okay, Hermes. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. It's all right. This raccoon claw is then leading towards, what do we have? The 4-leaf clover now, Cancer. So it's leading towards all this good luck that could be like, once it gets in the spider and the spider web, it affects the whole environment, right? Your environment, someone else's, or just the general energy, but there's good luck blessing it. And over here we have the hummingbird, Cancer. So this is about perhaps you or someone else, right? Flying backwards, doing something non-traditional, or doing something that you're naturally good at or someone else is, but this has all this good luck blessing on it. And it's kind of gonna again go in the spider web and be in the whole environment. Okay. And it's really interesting because I have two raccoon claws here, right? So one is here kind of hiding under the alligator claw, but the other one is here. So it's like, again, this sense of teamwork, okay, around these things is really going to be important. And then if we go this way here, Cancer, the alligator claw, just like the 4-leaf clover, represents good luck. In a lot of cultures, they carry it for good luck in a mojo bag, or to win money, or just have more of whatever the person wants, right? But if you see that they're all claws, so I said something, I think it was back here with this coyote claw, okay, is digging deep, right? Digging deep with the spiritual team to have this healing sense of freedom and safety. But here it's also digging deep like triple time, because it's 4 claws, right? It's like 1, and they're all connected to all these things. 2, 3, and then 4. And then with the alligator claw, you can really see the nails and like that claw hand like extending out, right? Reaching for something. So what is it reaching for? I'll just pick it up and move it over and we'll see. We've got the chair here. So reaching for something to do with the home, with where you live or someone else, or a sense of home, right? That's a big like thing of importance here, okay, at this time. I'm just going to move that back a little bit. So that alligator claw is reaching for the chair, right? And then on the other side here, Cancer, we've got the apple, and I'm going to flip it over and move it over. And the apple is on top of the seashell, okay, and the little seashell charm. So here, this is about not only like something to do with a home where we live or a sense of being at home, but now it's like working with a teacher, a mentor, a guide, or your own leadership qualities, okay, or someone else's coming here. But there's a real need to have a sense of flexibility here. You can even see I wrote on there when I was first learning all the different things. That's a dog ankle bone. So our bones move with us, right? They structure and support, but they have to be flexible. Okay, so there's a sense of being flexible with this mentor, teacher, guide, or your own leadership qualities here, and being flexible with maybe something going on in the home or our sense of home here. But I also love that this other seashell is here because now that's like, let's be leaning into the feminine energy, regardless of gender, right, or how you identify. It's about this soft, gentle, receiving, very nurturing energy. So I definitely, like that here for you, Cancer. On the other side of that, look, we have the money bags. Okay, so this is about abundance, right? Going back to the beginning of the reading with the Buckeye, abundance, money, success, whatever it is you want to manifest. So the more flexibility that you or someone else or the energy can be soft and receiving, then actually when you do this or someone else does or the energy shifts, then look at what we have. Now we have peaceful energy with the peace doves, and it was kind of hiding inside of the um, safety pin, right? And then that's on top of the fork here. So it's like, it's just a repeated thing of what we saw over here, okay, with freedom and safety and protection. But now it's peaceful, now it's abundance. And now you here, Cancer, or someone else with the energy can really be asking those important questions like, what am I digesting in terms of how can I be more peaceful in the home, or how can I find a sense of being peaceful within my sense of home, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right. Let me try that again. So my where can I be more peaceful and feel safe in what I'm digesting in my home environment or my sense of home, like where I feel at home with my within myself, within others, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, as we continue to go this way here, Cancer, we also have the bow and arrow. We've got Sagittarius energy, which then leads into the elephant. Okay. So this could have something to do with the Sagittarius, Cancer, or during Sagittarius season, or where you may have Sag in your chart or someone else. Or it has nothing to do with the zodiac energy, and it's really just about um, what are my goals? Okay, where do I pull back that arrow and hit at the target? And here it seems like, and we're not even in one section, right? Remember how I said these things are all crossing. So it kind of is all about these different areas. Okay, so body and mental health, relationships and love, work and money, and the spiritual unconscious. It's like talking about all of these things. So, what is the goal? The goal, okay, here for someone or for energy in general is about something about memories, since elephants never forget. So maybe the goal is to remember something or go over some old memories or something here with memories. Okay, so when you do this, Cancer, or someone else does, or the energy, we also have the strawberry charm here. So it's like really important, something about the fine details of a memory. Okay, this memory could have something to do with travel or being by water, but it doesn't have to be here with the ship charm. Okay, it just could have something to do about travel, and also like where we can feel free when we do travel, right? Whether it's um, the 3D physical world or where it's like in the 5D spiritual unconscious realm, all right? But what I have here, and I didn't like flip it over yet until we got here, this is Cupid. But if you see its arrow is pointing towards the turtle, okay? But when we flip it over, so you can see that it's actually Cupid, now Cupid's arrow is kind of pointing towards the mermaid. Okay, so there's kind of a little bit of this back and forth energy, Cancer, where it's like the need to slow down with the turtle, okay, and go within and have this beautiful feminine energy, all right, with this other seashell here, and that's my listening seashell. So if we put it up to our ear and it was a bigger one, right, we could hear the ocean. Okay, so it's going slow and listening for something here, but also on the other side, Cupid is my symbol for love and relationships, romantic, platonic, self-love. It's pointing towards something to do with the past and longing for something here. So we have the mermaid, and it always makes me think it's my symbol for the little mermaid, right? She's longing to be something that she's not. It could have something to do with past lives, even, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Okay, but maybe it's this longing for a sense of balance with the yin and yang here, all right, on the other side of the mermaid. And then very quietly, it was almost kind of like hiding. Now we have the symbol, or my symbol anyway, for Capricorn. And so this is about something maybe to do with the Capricorn here, Cancer, or during Capricorn season, or where you have Capricorn in your chart, or someone else. Or it's none of those zodiac things, and it's just really about, where do we put in the effort to be resilient, to not give up, and to keep climbing up the mountain, to find this sense of balance and slowing down and listening to something here. There's a big thing going on when we went back. Sorry, I just knocked that over a little bit. If we go back here to the apple, Cancer, that teacher, mentor, guide, or your own leadership qualities, well, it's also showing up over here like someone needs to slow down and listen to someone that has more knowledge or a sense of confidence here, Cancer, with the crown kind of underneath. Okay, I'm just pulling it out a little bit. Underneath that listening seashell, okay? So the crown can be a higher up, a person that has more knowledge or confidence than you, or it could also be your leadership qualities. But it's like your spiritual team here with the coffin charm wants you or someone else to be proactive here with this coyote penis bone, assertive, aggressive, masculine energy, being proactive about cutting something away here, cutting away the things that are no longer useful in terms of work or money, in terms of relationships and love, in terms of body and mental health, spiritual and conscious, like all of the things. Because when you do that, or the energy shifts, or someone else does, right? Then we have success and prosperity here with the fish on one side, and then the other side, it's like following our North Star. Okay, so this is really beautiful here, Cancer. Um, and I want to look back over here. It's very interesting. Both of the skulls in your reading kind of showed up really close together, and I know it's hard to see. But if we pretend like this dotted line, okay, goes all the way out where my pen is, I'll kind of like rest it there for a moment if it'll stay. Um, where we see a skull in a reading can tell us a lot about where someone's mind is at, or where it was, or where it will be. Well, anything that falls outside of the black mat, I forgot to say, in these different sections, right, is past energy. Okay, so we can see here in the past, Cancer, once you see the camera focusing, that all the way out there with that first skull, and in the snake vertebrae leaning against it, almost like a little helmet there, is in the past someone was thinking a lot about work or money, or your sense of value, right? If you're no longer working, okay, or you're retired or something like this, it's like, where do I feel valued? So maybe someone here in the past, or the energy here in the past, Cancer, was really about where is my sense of support? Okay, like, is it coworkers? Is it my boss? Is it my work environment? Is it my friends or family that's supporting my work and money environment? But it was like heavy on someone's mind here, okay? And with that snake vertebrae, the backbone, it is support, right? But because it's a snake in particular here, Cancer, this is about shedding skin and the evolution. So if in the past the support system around the work and money started to change, it's okay, Hermes. It's just a little bit of thunder. I don't know if I told you guys before, but I think Hermes is on the Cancer Leo cusp. So Hermes is part Cancer. But anyway, this energy is past, right? But it's influencing what possibly is going on here in the future current energies when we're looking at the black mat, right? This is over here in the white mat. So what we didn't talk about yet here is very interesting, Cancer. It's not touching, okay, the star or the other bones over here in charms, but here we have that skeleton hand really clearly, and that is touching the lock. And on top of the lock, Cancer, is the dragonfly. Um, and it just feels really nice here. It's almost like, in terms of someone's work or money or a sense of being valued, right? Because we're paid a certain amount of money for some work we do, right? So it doesn't have to necessarily be like monetary, right? It can just be our sense of being valued. If there is stagnant energy or something not moving or being locked, your spiritual team is coming in here with that skeleton hand, and they're like, let us help you gently unlock that, okay? Because the dragonfly, much like, where is it? I gotta move my pen again. Yes, over here, the bow and arrow represents here our goals, our dreams, what were we focused on, what are our targets, right? But here it's really our dreams for work or money or a sense of being valued. Excuse me. So when you focus on this, Cancer, or someone else does, or the energy very gently, spirit, your spiritual team, your ancestors, angels, spirit guides, etc., they're coming in to kind of help you here with this, okay? So I feel like that is really beautiful. Now, if we pull out a little bit, okay, and see like what else is in the past energy, and there's quite a bit, I would say the majority of the stuff here in your reading, Cancer, that's in the past, it's all here, okay? And this is the spiritual unconscious section. I also call it your intuition, right? But here's that other skull, okay? And I moved it a little bit with the pen. It was like this. So look at that. That's so interesting, Cancer. They're both touching vertebrae bones, backbones, okay? So here, this is the snake vertebrae we already talked about, but oops, stay over there. Here, Cancer, now we have a piece of the whale vertebrae backbone. Okay, so again, someone or some energy in the past thinking a lot about, well, where is my spiritual support? Okay, and that can be ancestors, spirit guides, okay, your spiritual team, or it could be people that are alive. Are they supporting your intuition, your unconscious, your spirituality here? There is some masculine energy showing up here in the past as well with the masculine charm. And then we have one of the human tooth bones here. So chewing over and digesting this, it was really sharp in the past, Cancer. And then way over here on the other side, we almost didn't see it, right, is Leo the lion. He's kind of chilling out here in the past as well. Okay, so this could have something to do, Cancer, with the Leo during Leo season, where you may have Leo in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. But it's really also about, in addition to all those things, where is the passion and the creativity? Where's the courage to work with our intuition, to work with our unconscious, our gut reactions to things, okay? Because if we go this way, Cancer, there's Pisces, okay? There's the twin fish showing up, another water sign like you, if you are a sun sign Cancer. So this could have something to do with the Pisces during Pisces season, where you have Pisces in your chart. And it's kind of mostly in the past here on the white mat, but it does cross over a little bit into the future, current, present energies. So Pisces energy here, like something about going with the flow, going with the tide and not against it. A lot of intuitive psychic energy showing up here. Now, if we pull all the way back out here, Cancer, here's your second raccoon penis bone, all the way out here in the past, in the spiritual unconscious, right? And if we look closely, there's also your envelope charm, okay? So it could be that in the past, there was some type of spiritual message, okay, that either you gave or someone gave to you or came in from your spiritual team. But there was this beautiful masculine energy being proactive with receiving or giving this message, like whatever it was, okay? But we have double masculine energy with it also touching one of the coyote penis bones, okay? So I feel like, this is, Okay, let's pull all the way back out and wait for the camera for a second to focus. I said in the beginning of the reading that your busiest section could have been, spiritual unconscious, right? Look at all of these bones and charms. Once it wants to focus the camera, please work with us. But it's like because of these things that happened in the past. So being proactive or assertive or aggressive, again, either around receiving a message or giving a message, going with the flow, something here to do with Pisces. But then if we go this way, Cancer, right? Look at Saturn kind of chilling there, okay? So Saturn is getting serious about our intuition or our responsibilities or what we feel our limitations are, okay? Because if there is still some doubt about our intuition, our unconscious knowing, our gut reactions to things, the message is really clear here with these two charms that touch nothing else, okay? Is now we have our third cleansing agent. We got the leaf and it's touching the key, okay? So what is this saying here, Cancer? It's like the way to get those spiritual intuitive answers is to keep clearing, cutting away, clearing. Because we saw that in a few other places, okay? It could also have something to do with fall season, but it doesn't have to be. Either something coming up, fall season coming up, since it's more on the black side of the mat. But it's really about clearing something away here, okay? Because you had it in the beginning of your reading, going back this way, it was like the second thing we looked at was the feather, clearing, cutting something away. And then we had the broom here, like clearing, cutting something away. And now we have it again. Okay. And this is interesting here too, Cancer, because these two charms are right on the line. Okay. Between the spiritual unconscious, but also body and mental health. So they can also apply this way, right? Now, if we pull all the way back out, the last other few things in this section that we need to talk about that are in the past, right? And I remember this was, okay, the last thing in the bowl, I closed my eyes, but I know how heavy this coin is, and I knew it was the yes or no coin. So it was dancing around there for a minute, and then it just popped out this beautiful yes, okay? So in terms of someone's health, body and mental health, if there was a yes that you gave or someone gave to you in the past, it's still bringing in all of this good luck, okay, with the green lucky rabbit's foot. Also, if we go this way, Cancer, it could be with the listening bells all the way out here that you or someone else was really listening for something here to either do with like 3D physical children if you have children or someone else does. But it also could just be like this childlike energy. So listening for that in the past was like a big thing, or it could have been a catalyst for kind of what we see here in the current future energies, okay? And so what I'm seeing here in the center, it's kind of hard to see with the lighting. If we go this way, it's easier. Is we have this wish charm here. Okay, make a wish, right? And it's on top of the puzzle piece. And then over here, very delicately, right, we have a piece of the fish vertebrae now showing up, okay? So it could be that there's a wish for bringing things together in terms of someone's body and mental health, and having a sense of support around that, but also needing to go with the flow. Water energy with the fish vertebrae here, right? And Cancer, or if you're a sun sign Cancer, you are water, okay? And we kind of talked about these things that are all touching and going that way, but we didn't talk about these other little things that are kind of on the outside. So I see here, Cancer, someone thinking a lot about perhaps something to do with exercise, okay, with this human tooth bone, then touching the bicycle charm. So it could be you or someone else with energy in general, like how does, something to do with exercise not only affect my body, but how does it affect my mind, okay? It could also be someone chewing over and digesting just a lot of movement or changes happening here you know, within the mind and the body, okay? And then kind of all the way out here on its own, kind of chilling, is here is the seahorse, okay? Cancer. So that's my symbol for family, okay? So it could be blood family, it could be relatives, parents, or it could be like whoever you consider your tribe or your people. But someone is thinking a lot about maybe how do I get them closer, right? But I don't feel that it's time to do that yet here, Cancer. I feel that instead of that, it's like the opposite, right? Because you here, we know, are working on healing, or someone else, or the energy, and figuring out a sense of freedom and safety. Okay, but this can also apply to the body and mental health, right? So where do I feel safe within my body, within my mind? How can I heal things, right? But there is that book charm going back over here this way, along with the sun charm. So this could be Cancer talking about you researching something or some type of knowledge, the knowledge to clear something that is no longer good for the body or the mental health. And if you look where this broom is, Cancer, it's really interesting. If I do it this way, you can kind of see that this is a figure meditating, right? You see the head there? I just moved one of the charms. Look where the broom is. The broom is like sweeping something out through the root chakra, the sacral chakra. I can't talk. The sacral chakra, okay? So not only thinking again about exercise for the body and mind, there's something that needs to be perhaps cleared here with Reiki, or, you know, a spiritual teacher or something, or just listening to different, you know, frequencies to heal the chakras within the body. But it's really interesting that it is like right there in the center between that figure, kind of meditating. So when you do this, I have to move the camera back the other way, guys. I was just showing you the figure because it's upside down. When you do this, or someone else does, Cancer, this brings stronger boundaries, right? And this sense of freedom here with that bobcat tooth, and then the freedom handcuffs, and then, of course, the abundance, where we started with the nutmeg. So lots of transformations happening, right? As we said, in all these different areas, and something really big going on in terms of, with these two honeybees, a sense of freedom and safety around, well, where can I be a leader, and where can I work by myself, and are my efforts being appreciated within this team, right? Or does me and the team need to go elsewhere, or something like this, okay? um but I see a lot of, again, that hardworking energy with Capricorn on the other side, okay? So I know that was a lot, but we also have just a few more things here, okay? But all the way out here, and it was kind of getting lost, I just wanted to show you again here, Cancer, that not only do you have good luck twice, um, or I'm saying you do have good luck twice, right? So here is that four-leaf clover, okay, in the spiritual unconscious, or your intuition, and then all the way out here was also the ladybug inside the horseshoe. It just kind of was like that. So sometimes I miss it. And I was like, wait, we didn't talk about that. So lots of good luck, and trusting the intuition here is a big thing. All right. Now, the last thing here, okay, in terms of relationships and love. Here, Cancer, going into the past, okay, we have the turkey wishbone, and it's sitting on top, very interestingly, of the cup, okay? You see that's the cup, right? And this was just like that. Okay, so there's like a wish that started in the past for something to do with emotions. There's a lot of emotions around something to do possibly with support, because here we have the fish vertebrae, okay? So this started in the past, and that is still coming in here to the future, current, present energies, okay? So a lot of emotions are like, you know, am I being supported in my romantic relationships? Am I being supported in my work relationships, and my relationships with friends and family, and my relationship with myself, right? It's like all of those things. And we see it twice here, once with the cup, and then over here we have the water charm, which represents emotions again here, Cancer, okay? But look how beautiful this is. I just want to show you this way. Look at what we have right on the word love. We have the corn charm. So beautiful, right? Here, okay? And so this is talking about Cancer planting seeds, something of substance, right? So, like, what kind of relationships do I want? Yes, like there's all these emotions around feeling support or lack of support, but is it, if we're just focusing on that, um, it might be hard for it to come in if we're like trying so hard or someone else is trying so hard. Okay, so again, we need to clear and cleanse something with the help of friends or a group of friends or one friend or a friendly type of energy that's going to help you here, Cancer, set these boundaries so you can feel more free, okay? Or respect someone else's boundaries if they set them, right? Because if there's some challenges around this teamwork and individual power, individuality, just know that things are transforming and changing, and then there's happiness. Okay. So I don't want to keep, saying stuff over, but hopefully, some of that is going to start to make sense here, Cancer. Maybe it already does. But I think this is such a beautiful reading, like for your season. And yeah, I mean, I can't remember what your reading was for last month, but it would be interesting to go back and look. But this is really, really beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to put the camera down briefly for a second and just kind of make sure that I took a picture, because I do always upload the pictures onto Facebook later, like under the actual video. It'll be in the comment section if people want to come back and look at it later. Okay. But yeah, I think at this time now we're going to go ahead and switch over to Leo as well. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of place the bones and charms very gently, back into the bowl, and then we'll clear the energy again, and kind of rotate the mat and all that good stuff, and then see what messages that we have for Leo. So yeah, enjoy your season, Cancer, again. All right. But yeah, let's just kind of put these back in the bowl for a little bit. But yeah, so now I want to say too that Leo, right? Since this reading is general reading for the month of July, coming into your season in the 22nd or so of the month, I always like to remember, sometimes I forget to say happy early birthday here, Leo, sun sign Leos, depending on whenever you see this video, right? So I just like to say happy early birthday. Okay. So yeah, let me just put all of these together for a moment and take a sip of water, because I know I've been talking a lot. Let's rotate this around a little bit just to kind of like switch it up. We're going to let the bones and charms rest with some crystals. Where I put my clear quartz. Oh, here we go. Okay. So we'll let that chill there for a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to put the camera back up for a moment. While we kind of clear the energy, maybe do a little bit of incense and all that good stuff. And just kind of, welcome in the Leo energy and let go of the Cancer energy. If I can get this camera to roughly, nope, that's not even close. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I don't know how it can be so good other times and then it doesn't stay. There we go. Okay. I think that's roughly kind of where it's at least you can kind of see a little bit of me, a little bit of the mat. That's kind of the point. All right. But yes, So now we're going to talk about Leo and get into the Leo energy. So we'll do another sound bell, do a little incense here, and just see what is going on as far as the spiritual messages for Leo for the month of July. I was doing the little sticks, but now I feel like called to do a bigger one. This is my jasmine one. What did I have earlier? Oh, I think I had strawberry. Okay, I love jasmine though. All right. So, you know, smoke and intention and sound frequencies and healing does clear energy from the previous reading. It helps us ground ourselves, right? So I kind of like to always pass the bones and charms through the smoke a little bit. And we also, of course, want to respect the animals' bones that are in here, and all of that, okay? Thank everyone for their effort in these messages, okay? Since I am just a channel, I'm just a channeler for spirit. They get all the credit, yes, as the thunder does its thing. It's okay, Hermes. All right. But anyway, guys, this is a moment if you want to take a couple of deep breaths as well, kind of just tune in, get some nice incense and clear the energy, all right? And then we'll kind of see what we have coming up for Leo. And I think I might turn on a little bit background music just so it doesn't get too crazy with the dogs here. So actually give me guys 1 second really quickly. No. You're a good boy. Yeah. Good boy. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, yes, let's do water first. And then we'll do our sound bell and get started. Okay. Very good. Okay. So if you're sensitive to sound, you can feel free to turn it down a little bit temporarily. But yeah, this is going to be for Cancer for July 2025. I'm sorry, not Cancer, Leo. We just did Cancer. This is for Leo, fire sign Leo. Okay, for July 2025. All right. I think it helps the animals too, definitely. You can always see their like reactions to the sound. It's so cool. Maybe not Hermes right now because he's on high alert for the thunder, but the cats love it. Cleo loves it. Hermes normally likes it. All right. So anyway, let's put that aside as much as I can here. Okay, cool. And now we're going to see, kind of shake and shuffle the bones and charms and see kind of where they land and what messages Spirit has. So again, when I do this, it makes a little bit of noise, but it's not for forever. So thank you for your patience and understanding. All right, so spirits, please guide my hands. Spirits, guide my hands. Messages for fire sign Leo, the lion, for July 2025. What does Leo need to see for their highest good? Spirits, guide my hands. Messages for Leo Messages for Leo for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hand. Messages for Leo for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hand. Okay. Spirit, guide my hand, please. Messages for fire sign Leo, the lion, for their highest good for July. Messages for Leo. Spirit, guide my hand. Messages for Leo for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hand. Messages for Leo for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hand. Messages for Leo for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hand. Messages for Leo. Okay. Wow, it came all out. All right. Ooh, sorry about that. I wasn't supposed to fall. Okay. So I'm going to just move some of the bones and charms in a little bit if they went out here. Again, it doesn't change their meaning. Hey, Diva. I wonder if she was going to come say hi. It just means that we can see it clear a little bit better once the bones and charms say their messages, right? There was something I meant to say once we bring the camera down, but they do speak and say their messages. When I was channeling Leo, I kept seeing some type of ectoskeleton or like a beetle or a scarab or something. So interesting. We'll talk about it more later, but I was like real clear. I was like, okay, what does this mean? Here we go. So I just had to say that before I forget. Okay, Leo. But yeah, we're going to flip over some of the bones and charms right now. Again, it doesn't change their meaning. It just will be easier to see once I bring the camera down in a few moments. And anything that falls outside of the black mat is energy in these different sections that we'll go over if you're new, right? But it just means it's past energy. So everybody's welcome. Thank you for being here, for your likes and shares and subscriptions, for your views, all that stuff. Whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or eventually TikTok. I appreciate it. But yeah, let's just again see what we can, make a little bit clearer. Oh. Okay. Got a lot in here. I'm not going to move too much of that yet until we get to that section. So I don't want to mess up the order of things. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. Like I said, we'll go more over things in a moment. But yeah, now I kind of want to figure out where Spirit wants to start this reading, Leo, since every reading is different, right? So just bear with me for one moment. Spirits, please guide my hands, messages, and where would you like me to start this Leo reading for July? Spirits, guide my hands. Okay. Like all of this right here. It's like the energy is going like in a direct line from here to here. Okay. So if you saw me rotate the mat, I did. Interestingly, right, Leo? A lot of your bones and charms, very similarly in one sense, seem to be in the spiritual unconscious or the intuition section, right? but it's not a bad thing, right? There's just a lot of possibly downloads happening. And there's still things happening in work and money and relationships and love and body and mental health. But there is definitely a lot of energy that's just like drawn right here in this, like concentrated in this section, okay? Um, so let's start there and then kind of see exactly which way Spirit wants me to go, all right? But yeah, let me go ahead and bring the camera down so you guys can see everything more clearly. So we go for a little ride. Okay. So let's see. Here, okay, Leo, I told you it kind of was like the energy was going up from Pegasus, the wing horse, and then going that way. It was like my hand was like so hot and drawing me right here. Okay, so right when we get to Pegasus, Pegasus laying on top of the question mark, right? Very interesting. And it's on the line, so it's going to apply to both of these sections, right? But the first one here, the spiritual unconscious, or also known as our intuition, what we feel, in our gut reactions, our first feeling of something, what we feel more alone when we're sleeping. This is this section, right? And look at the baby sleeping face down. But here, there's some kind of questions or doubts, Leo, around someone's sense of freedom. Like when it comes to their spirituality, they're like, I don't think I can be free. It's very interesting. It's like giving like atheist energy. Nothing's wrong with atheists, right? I have a lot of friends that are atheists. Or on the opposite side, it's giving like very religious, stern energy. So there's this question of like, well, can I ever feel free in my sense of spirituality or my unconscious or my intuition? Because a lot of times we're told not to trust those things sometimes, not for everybody, right? It's just kind of the energy that I was getting. If we go a little bit further back, though, this way, Leo, that's also kind of right on the line, just a little bit below, is we have the fork here that's like half in the past, half in the future, current, present energies. And this fork is talking about what am I spiritually digesting, right? This could be about you, Leo, or someone else, multiple people, general environment, situation. But there is like these questions that are, really needed to be talked about or thought about here. It's like in the back of someone's mind, okay? But as I said, this energy draws upwards this way. So that's the way that I'm going to go, even though they aren't necessarily touching. So the next thing that I'm seeing here is we have the snake vertebrae showing up here, Cancer, and it is touching the coyote penis bone, or one of the coyote penis bones. So strong masculine energy showing up here. We all have masculine and feminine inside of us, but if we're talking about higher vibrational masculine energy, it's being proactive, assertive, aggressive around maybe our sense of support with our spirituality, with our intuition. If there's someone here, Leo, or a person or an energy that is not supporting you, or it's changing or evolving, right? With the snake vertebrae shedding that skin, there's a deep need to clear something here, okay? Clear our spiritual house, all right? Clear and cleanse, right? So, when you do this, Leo, or someone else, or the energy, this brings about like stronger boundaries, and when there's stronger boundaries, we have peaceful energy. Okay, so here we can see the peace doves are underneath this bobcat tooth. Okay, so cats are really good at boundaries. And then with the baby facing down here, Leo, this is like my symbol for spiritual download, since we're already in the spiritual unconscious section, right? So babies down, there's like a lot of processing of information from the spiritual realm, let's say. Okay, even if you're not religious, okay? Um, but this could be like, 5D in the dream world here, but I also see something going on perhaps either with a Capricorn or during Capricorn season. We do know, or I know anyway, everybody knows maybe at some point, that we have the full moon in Capricorn Leo. When is it? July 11th? No, July 10th is the full moon in Capricorn. So that could mean something for you or someone, but it doesn't have to be. But generally, when we talk about Capricorn energy, this is that earth stern energy. It's putting in effort or being resilient to not give up here, perhaps with some spiritual downloads, some aha moments, some, oh, now I finally understand something. Um, because if we go this way, right, now we have the scissors right on the line. So we had the broom over there. It's like kind of the scissors are pointing towards the broom, but they're echoing this need to cut something away that is no longer useful, so there can be more of a sense of balance here with someone's spirituality, with their unconscious or their intuition, and really putting in that effort here, okay, and not giving up. Because here's your symbol, Leo. I don't know if you can see it, but Leo's upside down. It doesn't matter. I'll just turn him around, right? So you're showing up in this section, okay, Leo, or depending on how much Leo you have in your chart. Here's Leo the lion. And what is he right next to? Okay. Leo the lion, and once the camera wants to focus, is next to the first honeybee. So here it's like something, going on in terms of where you feel your individual power and how it's, respected or not, and your sense of teamwork with your spiritual team, or teamwork with people that are alive that support your spirituality or support your intuition. It's like showing up. Usually when you get, if we're talking about tarot, you get your own card, right? It's like an extra double meaning. So here, Leo, it could be throughout the month of July, you feel more like yourself when you're connected to your intuition or your sense of this individual power, and also working within team, okay? This could also have something to do with the Sagittarius, or during Sagittarius season, or where you may have Sagittarius in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. But I love that the arrow, the bow and arrow, that Sagittarius energy is pointing now, Leo, towards an envelope charm. It's pointing towards a message, a spiritual message, an unconscious, intuitive message, a message that either you give or someone gives to you, vice versa, etc. But there's all this beautiful good luck around it, okay? And I really like that, okay? So I think I talked about it in the astrology notes. At some point, Juno goes direct. So Juno rules partnerships, marriages, commitments, right? But can also be work partnerships. It can be spiritual partnerships, right? But that was a little bit of a theme for Cancer in that way. And you're Leo, right? But whatever sign is before us and after us is going to be felt a lot as well. So you may need to watch the Cancer part too, if that speaks to you, but you don't have to. Now I want to go back this way, to go back kind of up that line, because I went over a little bit, right? But if we go back this way, that clearing and cleansing with the broom and the coyote penis bone, it's going to also, look at this, Leo, here's the sun, if we flip it over, right, is going to bring a lot of happiness. And this happiness, Leo, kind of permeates and goes through your whole spiritual environment, right? So if a little insect goes inside a spider web, right, the whole thing is going to kind of shake a little bit, and it's felt. Okay, what is felt? Now we have masculine energy with the male energy charm kind of hiding underneath that spider web here, Leo. And this also is then leading to something about new ideas with the family, within a family. Okay, this could be your blood family, this could be your relatives, your parents, with the seahorse, or it could be whoever you consider your tribe or your people. But all of this, like these new ideas about family, like where do I feel, who is my spiritual family, right? Who is my or not who is my, yeah, who is my spiritual family. But also another question as an example could be like, where do I feel a sense of family or home within my intuition or my spirituality here? But there's definitely something showing up in the home with the chair over here, and then we have the coyote claw underneath it. Okay, like barely touching it, not really. All right, so this is about digging deep, and again, a sense of teamwork. If there are some challenges within the home where we live or someone else, um, but since we're in the spiritual unconscious here, Leo, it's like if there's, you know, how do you say, spiritual unconscious intuitive challenges around a sense of support. Okay, because if we go this way on the other side of the mountain charm, on the other side of the challenges, um, is a piece of the whale vertebrae bone and then also the fish vertebrae bone. So double vertebrae, both the backbone, both representing support. And they're both water energies and animals, right? So one is a fish and one is a whale. Okay, so very interesting because if you're a fire sign, Leo, what does that mean for you, right? Um, and then as we go this way here, Leo, now you have the coffin charm. So this is one of my symbols for ancestors, spiritual team, and guides, right? What have you. They could be showing up here and really saying that if there's some stagnant energy with the intuition, you not trusting yourself or someone else or the energy, there's a real need to go slow here. Why is there a rushing energy? Okay, if there's some challenges, that's okay, but let's slow down a little bit so that we can find the solutions to those challenges. All right, so here with that turtle charm, then touching this other human tooth bone that is then touching the fish, is like there's prosperity and success in going slow, especially when we're talking about our intuition. Sometimes it's just your body. It's not even like, this big holy, moment where you're like, oh, my spiritual guides came in and they all talked to me and it was beautiful. No, sometimes it's just even your body is like slow down. So you can again hear those spiritual messages whether you're sleeping or you're awake. It's always easier when you're asleep, right? Because your logical mind is turned off, okay, and more accepting of spiritual messages. All right. But as we continue to go up this way here, Leo, it's like there's a lot of emotions here around who we love and who loves us, right? And something about having, good luck with either our own leadership qualities here with the crown or working with someone who has more knowledge or confidence than us and helping, you know, process some type of information or research or knowledge here with that book charm. Okay. But I just wanted to show, like, right under Cupid and underneath the crown charm is that um, horseshoe in Ladybug that was inside of it. Okay, I just kind of like flipped it over. So here, Leo, this is like if we follow Cupid's arrow, it's pointing to this seashell here that's half in the past and half in the future, current, present energies. And this is my listening seashell. And the listening seashell is helping support very beautifully the frog here, Leo. I'm going to flip it over, right? So the frog is pushing off of that beautiful feminine listening energy and listening to the people that love us to then reach for the frog is so cute. It's on top of the skeleton hand, like the little frog hand is on the big hand, right? That's so cute. And so here that's about like letting your spiritual team help you here, Leo. When you do that or someone else does, the energy shifts. Now we have healing energy coming in with the lizard, right? Certain lizards, you cut off their tail and it grows back. This is beautiful healing energy. Could have something to do with travel, like 3D physical travel, and or it could also be travel within the 5D or astral travel when you're sleeping or someone else. But I like that this is like this information is coming in and now it's working with a higher up or your own leadership qualities or having more confidence in here. I really like that for you, Leo. Um, and then if we go the other way, look at the little hummingbird like sitting so cute, okay, on top of the corn charm. It's almost like the hummingbird is like, I don't need nectar, I'm gonna just eat this corn, right? So the hummingbird represents doing something we're naturally good at. When we're talking about our spirituality or unconscious or intuition, that's it, right? That is what that means. But it also could be meaning like doing something non traditional, um, that maybe other people don't necessarily understand or understand right away. Maybe they will later, okay, but maybe it's not for them to understand, right? But here, Leo, this is about planting seeds, you or someone else, so the energy wants to plant these seeds for something of substance, okay? Something that we can eat, right? What are we spiritually unconsciously eating, okay? And so planting those seeds there. Very interesting. Now, if we also see what else is here on the line, right, it also still applies this way. So here we see the first skull in the reading, Leo, okay, and underneath it we've got feminine energy, this then attached to um, the key charm. So here I can see that you or someone else is thinking a lot about the spiritual unconscious and perhaps also body and mental health here, but using that feminine energy to find some answers is going to be a really, big thing here, okay? um, Now I want to go back a little bit and see, you know the few things that are in the past also kind of right on the line, okay? um, so here, Leo, I can see that that elephant is all the way out in the past. It makes sense. That's where it would be. Elephants never forget. So for me, they represent memories. So it's like getting deep with some type of spiritual memories here is going to bring a sense of freedom. And again, the ability to either travel in the 3D or travel in the 5D when you're dreaming or something here. But there's a lot of emotions and being proactive with the emotions, because that's, a lot of what the intuition is. That's a lot of what the spirituality or the unconscious is. It's all emotions, right? So as we go this way here, Leo, we see the dragonfly and then we see the bat. And so here it's like, what are our spiritual dreams? What were they in the past? And what were those subtle vibrations, doing for us or doing for someone else? Or I would just say start with yourself first, right? That self love. But bats communicate with just sound. So if we're in the spiritual unconscious and intuition, remember how I was saying you sometimes just know within your body? Maybe it's just doing something like that, very subtle, with those vibrations and listening again, um, to our loved ones to help us make some type of leap of faith here and trust in our spiritual team. Very beautiful. And if we go all the way out here, if I bring it closer, right? We also have the listening bells in the past here, Leo. So the listening seashell and the listening bells, both in the spiritual unconscious. Okay, so perhaps why you have a lot of this positive stuff going on could be because in the past you or someone else was really like tuned in and listening, okay? Um, the other thing that we can see, if we kind of pull out and pretend that this dotted line like continues out, right, is we also have the yes coin right here, okay, that also applies to the spiritual unconscious. And it's on top of the feather. So it could be like your spiritual team is like, yes, we're clearing and cleansing something. It could be a yes that you gave to someone or someone gave to you, vice versa, etc. But again, really nice past energy. Okay. Now I want to go kind of into your next, so to speak, busiest section. Okay, we definitely have a lot to talk about here in the past. Okay, so the next one is that body and mental health. So it's like, again, now the yes coin can be yes, something going on in terms of body and mental health, or doing some type of clearing or cleansing or detoxing here within the body and the mind. If we go even further back here, Leo, we can see that we have, okay, the ship anchor here, and then we have the witch charm. Okay, so there could have been this friendly energy, a group of friends, or just this friendly energy that maybe wanted to help you find your anchor and be confident when you drop it and when you pick it up and go. So when do you pick it up and go in terms of your body and mental health? There could have also been in the past here, Leo, like a teacher or mentor or guide with the apple charm showing up all the way out there. It could also be your own leadership qualities here, Leo. Um, but there was all this beautiful abundance, and it's still coming through in the present energies, but it started in the past a little bit here. So now we have feminine energy with the seashell over here. We've got the buckeye, abundance, right? We have the raccoon claw, teamwork, digging deep. So, digging deep for finding a sense of balance or justice, equal give and take with the body, with the mind, okay? We can also see here, Leo, with that mermaid there, a deep longing for this type of balance, okay, or equal give and take or something here. Now, of course, this could have something to do with the Libra or during Libra season, or where you may have even Leo in your, not Leo, you are Leo, where you even have Libra in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. It's just generally about that equal give and take here and striving for that. So, remember how I said your first skull is here? If we pull all the way out here, it's hard to see, but it's all the way out here, Leo, is your second skull. Okay, and it's all the way in the past for body and mental health. So let's go that way and kind of see a little bit of what's going on here. And I'm just going to prop him up so you can like see him better. He, she, they better. Okay. So we can see that someone was thinking a lot about someone's health in the past. And we do see the spiritual team showing up with the angel coin, ancestor spirit guides. They were a big part of the puzzle. And someone was chewing over and digesting this transformation here with this human tooth bone and then the butterfly. So someone chewing over and digesting transformation within the body, within the mind. And perhaps over time here with the rope charm, somebody felt that there still is some type of irresponsibility here, okay, with the irresponsibility coin. So someone being irresponsible with their body or with their mind. But I want to see what's underneath this, Leo, because I definitely felt something interesting. Okay, so someone wishing for their own downfall? No. Someone wishing, chewing over, and digesting. I wish I could be responsible, but maybe it's a learned habit. I don't know. Again, it's going to be different for everyone since it is a general reading. Um, but I feel that it's a wish to actually be responsible is underneath that, even though it might present as irresponsible. Okay, so someone again is being irresponsible with their body or their mind. It doesn't mean that they necessarily want that. It's just that's how it's showing up because there is an imbalance. Okay, so with this imbalance, if we go this way now, Leo, now we have the leaf charm, we have the raccoon penis bone, we got Saturn here, and then on the other side, very interestingly, we have the butterfly. Okay, so spiritual team is like, if we're being irresponsible, let's clear and cleanse it. Okay, Saturn is coming in too. If someone's being not serious with their body and mental health, or not being organized, or not um, just putting in that effort there, then Saturn is going to come in and kind of force his hand. Okay, um, with the honeybee touching the raccoon penis bone, this is about individual power. What is my individual responsibility to my body and my mind? And also, what is the teamwork effort with my body and my mind? So, the teachers, the mentors, the guides, the doctors, etc. Right? Um, this is so interesting. Leo, because it's you, right? Leos love the spotlight sometimes. There's something here, not for everybody, right? But there's like something going on here about exercise and making money from it or feeling more abundant because of it. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like you are an exercise YouTuber channel thing. It could just be a lot of movement in general showing up here. Like the wheels are moving really fast, Leo, and this brings in more abundance. So I definitely like that. But it, it doesn't necessarily have to just be about money. If we're talking about abundance in terms of someone's body and mental health, it's like a healthy body, a healthy mind. That would be like what abundance is talking about here, not necessarily just money. Okay. Um, if we go this way, what's also on the line here that applies that way, right, is we've got Pisces, the twin fish here, is then touching um, the safety pin, and the safety pin is going around that small piece of the fish vertebrae there. Okay, so here, Leo, this is about going with the flow, so we can feel safe and supported within our body and mind here for you or someone else for general energy. Of course, it could have something to do with the Pisces or during Pisces season or where you have Pisces in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. Um, but what I really like to see here too, if we pull back a little bit, Leo, is that second raccoon penis bone is coming in and crossing over through a couple sections, right? But on top of it is the turkey wishbone. So because we're still talking about body and mental health, because these things are on the line, okay, they also go that way. But this is like being proactive, assertive, aggressive with whatever we wish for in terms of someone's body and mental health, okay? Um, but I really like that there's this deep thinking about that, okay? And going with the flow and going with the tide, not against the tide with the twin fish here, okay? Now, in terms of relationships here, Leo, all the way out here, okay, we have that green lucky rabbit's foot. And I don't think there's anything underneath now. I just wanted to double check, okay? So, again, this is past energy, and this section is romantic, platonic with friends and family, or even just self love or all the above. But remember, we have this butterfly, okay, if we follow that dotted line, that's all the way out here in the past, okay? So maybe some type of transformation happened in one relationship or multiple relationships here for you, Leo, but there was all this beautiful good luck as well. And this could have been a catalyst for then this arm, okay, this is the alligator claw, like reaching and trying to grab hold of this relationship or these relationships and trying to be more flexible and soft and nurturing within those relationships is a big thing. Whether you're doing it, Leo, or someone else, or the energy is, okay? Um, I'm trying to remember. No, Venus goes into Cancer at the end of the month. So Venus won't be in your sign, Leo, until August at some point, okay? And Venus is just, like your love language, basically. But it doesn't matter that it's not there till August, right? We're talking about July right now. So here's your North Star. So following your North Star in terms of your relationships and adding that beautiful flexibility and that soft, nurturing energy, that's a big deal. And usually when I see stuff in the heart, it can be your heart chakra, like energetically. So we see that big wish and that proactive masculine energy. And then on the other side, we see that supportive energy, that safe energy, and that Pisces go with the flow energy. Okay. So very, very nice. Okay. Also, I would say in terms of relationships and love, the last thing here that's also on the line and touching a few things is now we have that second raccoon penis bone, masculine energy being proactive, assertive around clearing or cleansing something here. Again, Saturn is going to come in and make us more serious or organized about those things or any limitations, figuring out what they are, right? And then it comes back around to being proactive, assertive, aggressive here, Leo, with our sense of individuality and our team working energy. Okay, teamwork, networking, whatever you want to call it. Um, so yeah, wow, really interesting. Now, as we pull back out, we get to your last section here, Leo, and it's like the barest section, so to speak. Not a lot going on here. It doesn't mean that's necessarily a bad thing. It usually means it's a good thing. It means that Spirit wants you to focus more on these other areas at this time or for someone else. Okay, but I just kind of want to turn it this way a little bit. So if we go back like all the way on the line here, and a little bit down, half in the future, half in the current present energies, Leo, is now we have the strawberry, we got the fork again, we got Pegasus, and we got the question mark. Okay, so in terms of work or money or sense of values or finances, perhaps someone was like, well, what's my work environment? What am I digesting at work? What's my mental environment there? What's my physical environment there? That's definitely showing up here that someone started that thinking in the past and now they're continuing it on. There could also be something of importance here, Leo, going over the details or the fine paperwork or the details with the fine print. What do they call it? The fine comb? I don't know, something like that. The famous saying. It's going to be important. Okay. But also clearing and cleansing something here and striving for balance in terms of work or money is a big thing. And longing for something, maybe even past lives, okay? But then that masculine energy coming in with that raccoon penis bone, then touching the wish charm and these few other things is like, Leo, work and money, whatever we wish for in these areas, there's like a sense of it's gonna work out, it's gonna be safe. Okay, there's going to be support. There's going to be this need to go with the flow. Okay, so that's really beautiful. All right, let's pull back out here and kind of look around and make sure that I got everything. I think I did. But yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting reading here, Leo. I love that, you have the yes coin. I love that you have the listening seashell and getting those spiritual downloads when we're sleeping or resting being really important. And that's when you're going to feel, again, more like yourself. Remember with Leo the Lion showing up here, putting in the effort with the individual effort and the community effort is a big thing, but that's going to bring you good luck. That could possibly bring you some type of message that you receive or you give to someone or just in general. But setting those clear boundaries is going to bring in this peaceful energy, okay, that carries around into all the different sections. All right. But yes, Leo, that is your reading. I'm going to put the camera up just for a moment here while I clear out the bones and charms and just kind of say au revoir and bye to you guys for now. But yes, thank you guys so much as always for your likes, your views, your shares. It really does help my channel since I am doing these readings for free. And sometimes they're long, right? And it's a lot of energy. So if you want to subscribe or like or follow, right? Whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, or TikTok, it does help my channel grow, and I really appreciate it if you feel guided, but no pressure. So anyway, enjoy this time period, Leo, and also for Cancer. All right, and so I will be back next with the rest of the signs going backwards for July, right? So next would be Libra, no, Virgo. I knew that. Virgo would be next. Virgo and Libra. It's been a long day, guys. Work with me. All right. But again, thank you guys so much and take care. And I will upload these pictures later too as well. All right. Bye.